Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset, episode 158. This podcast is about anything and everything related to the Destiny franchise. If you love playing Destiny 2 as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, we bring you all the latest news on Forsaken as we recap the biggest TWAB ever, break down the combat reveal stream, and do our best to predict how power will matter in Year 2. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's AER0KNIGHT and, of course, CyborgSasquatch. Hello, my friend.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. I am trying to get myself pumped up here because, wow, do we have some information to talk about.
Yeah, boy. I hate to say it, but I think I'm approaching that that time before release where you're just like just totally overwhelmed, and I'm just like, all right, yeah. I'm just gonna roll with the punches at this point. Like
exactly. Well, it's funny because even with the the game and trying to wrap our heads around all that, it's like, you know, then we've got the show aspect, and it's funny because the day it comes out, I feel like we're the same. Like we know, like if we took some time off or whatever, we sit down, it's like, okay, all I have to think about right now is experiencing this new content.
Yeah, that's the good moment right there.
Yeah.
But you know, of course, what makes it tough is like the two sides of the coin where there's a lot going on in the game right now, and then there's a lot to talk about what's coming.
Right.
And I don't think we've ever been in a position where there's so much in the game going on to like dissect at the same time that we're preparing for such a large expansion.
That's true, you know? And of course it's our pleasure to you know, talk about all this info for our listeners and the community and stuff. Yeah. But it is overwhelming. Yeah. It's at times it's like, okay. And in all, especially when we've talked about it on the show before, all the Twitter interactions that happen now, it's like we want to try and we're not releasing YouTube videos every day. So it's a week's worth of content. Yeah. That is, I applaud those content creators, but still doing it weekly, it's like, luckily we build the show notes throughout the week because it's like so much happens right now. Like you said, not let alone what we're actually doing in the game. So anyways, long story short, guys, as you know, I'm sure we have so much to cover in this episode.
Yep. And we're going to do our best to break it on down for you.
We're going to try and not talk about chips, t-shirt preference, even though I'm sure that may be entertaining at times. We've got to stay focused.
Yeah. Real quick before we get into the news, congrats to the winner of our Gambit emblem giveaway.
Yes. Congratulations.
That was IC3 Falcon.
Yes.
Congratulations, buddy.
Exciting.
Be sporting that exclusive emblem. I wish I could say we'll have more to give away, but I don't think we will.
I know. I don't know that we will.
Unless somebody goes to Gamescom or PAX and has one to send us. I think that might be the last one we've got. So, yeah. Sorry, guys and gals.
We're gonna be seeing these emblems pop up all over the place. Granted, from what we understand, there's not a lot of them, but there'll be enough. We'll see them start popping up in game once Forsaken launches, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
All right, man. Let's do some news. There's going to be so much news.
Okay, if you want to.
Yeah, maybe the longest TWAB ever. Can't confirm this, but it is a long one. So this week at Bungie, they demonstrated the evolution of combat in the second year of Destiny 2. Of course, if you kept your eyes peeled this week, there was a combat reveal stream over on Twitch. It's now available to watch on YouTube if you would like to go and catch up.
With or without the countdown?
It was about an hour and a half.
I noticed today they uploaded another version of it that has in parentheses, no countdown.
Oh, I see that, yeah. Because there's like a 10-minute countdown beforehand.
Yeah.
That's good. But yeah, it was one of the longer streams. Yeah. They played PvP for a while and made sure that they like showed off what they wanted to show off. We're gonna kind of give the bullet points on that after we get through this TWAB.
Yes.
Yeah, but there's a lot to talk about just there. Some really interesting stuff. So one thing that they're going to talk about, one topic is how they're going to be migrating from old weapon mods to new weapon mods. Starting on August 28th, your current mods will be deprecated and your inventory will tell you that you can safely discard them for materials and parts. On September 4th, the gunsmith's inventory will be dedicated to new Forsaken mods. Between now and the preload on August 28th, use your Year 1 mods to lock in the elemental damage type you want for your Year 1 weapons. They will retain that damage type after the mod deprecation. On August 28th, the old mod slot will go away, and you will no longer be able to insert any mods into Year 1 gear or change the elemental damage type. Some weapons will be moving to the kinetic slot and will not retain elemental damage, regardless of what mod. The AER0KNIGHT sniper rifle and shotgun will be locked to solar. Those are two that are kind of the exception to the rule there. Here are the legendary weapons that will be moving to kinetic. Balagant, Shepherd's Watch, Hawthorne's Field Forge Shotgun, Alone as a God, Perfect Paradox, the Frigid Jackal, and Silicon Neuroma.
A couple of those are snipers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that just is so crazy.
Alone as a God is a sniper. Silicon Neuroma is a sniper.
And Frigid Jackal.
Frigid Jackal is a sniper.
The
Shepherd's Watch.
Antibraze
is a sniper.
Yeah. Dude, it's just
and then
crazy to
Perfect Paradox.
Snipers in kinetic.
It was really funny because people were like, oh man, the AER0KNIGHT shotgun's going to be solar. I'm going to go get a Void Perfect Paradox. Nope.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. And that's such a good shotgun, man. That is, if you're not familiar, that is the shotgun you get as part of a quest related to Saint 14 in the Curse of Osiris expansion. Probably one of the best PvE shotguns in the game.
Yeah, I used it PvP a bit until I started using the Balagant. But
yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, this is weird to see this stuff in kinetic. I remember when we went to the D2 reveal, dude, and how jarring it was to experience the new weapon system for the first time. And I feel like this is going to be even more jarring at first.
Oh yeah,
it's just going to be weird.
For sure.
Like, exciting, but weird. It's going to be weird. But a very big thing you mentioned. Don't forget, guys, lock in those elemental types. 100%. There's been many opinions on that since they announced it, but
kind of an aside here. So, somebody asked him, Josh Hamrick on Twitter, he said, what was the design choice on removing the ability to switch elemental mods on energy/power weapons? I really like being able to switch around as well as other people, but since we won't be able to anymore, what was the thought process? Which is a great question. He replied, we had to recycle the mod slot for use with the new mods. Then the elemental type, now homeless, had to be moved back from a configurable mod slot to a locked intrinsic perk. Energy weapons have to be typed, and there wasn't a way to set it up correctly otherwise. Yeah. And then somebody replied, would switching elements still be possible if it was able to be set up correctly, or was this already locked in design choice? And he said, there's no good way to do it for now or for the foreseeable future.
So is he saying also in our collections, like, can they still drop with random elements on the same weapon?
So from what I understand, whatever is in your inventory is how, so when you say you dismantled it, that is how you will pull it out of your collection.
But I guess what if you get it as a drop again?
My guess there is that they will be pre-assigned to a certain element.
Okay. So
they haven't said that, but if I had to guess, that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, every weapon is going to have a locked. It seems as though every weapon is going to have
either that or they just drop random, but that would be odd because they're not really configuring the year one weapons to have any kind of randomization.
Yeah.
You know, in the way that they drop now, those weapons already have an element that is like standard for that weapon.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. If it's an energy weapon, people don't pay attention to it as much now because it's not locked. It doesn't matter. But if you got like an Alone as a God, it's going to drop with a certain element and so on and so forth.
Collection, there's so much for them to think about, that maybe us as players don't realize on the surface. It completely makes sense with collections that they would have to do that. Now, moving beyond into Forsaken weapons, it's going to be the same thing, obviously, right? They're probably going to have a set elemental drop on energy weapons.
I would expect so, yeah. Seeing as the element is no longer like configurable. I guess it's possible that it could be random, since there's other random stuff that you're rolling on the new weapons. But maybe not.
It is. I mean, it is a very interesting thing, because that is one thing implemented in D2 that was pretty neat.
Dude, that is like as a PvE heavy player, that is a huge quality of life improvement.
Yeah. And I see
that losing that as a PvE player, like, made me like just cringe.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. And it's like, I can see definitely the development challenge there. I didn't fully realize it, until they jump into these details like this, and it's always nice to understand that aspect of it as a player.
Well, and especially where there's so many shields, and it's not as many as in D1, but with the way that they reconfigured the shield system with enemies to work, how important it is to have the right element on your guns for certain encounters. Like that really limits your inventory,
that's
what
you
can thinking. Do with certain stuff.
Well, see, initially I was like, wow, okay, so I was thinking they were going to drop randomly. Obviously now we know they're probably not going to. So I was thinking to myself, dang, you layer that on with random rolls, you're going to have all kinds of the same weapon, because you want an element of each. But if the element's locked in, that solves that issue, I guess you could say. But yeah, it really does. I mean, like you said, your inventory, you're going to have specific loadouts that you enjoy for specific, activities, ranges. You know what I mean? Basically, like you just said, like it definitely changes a certain experience in the game for sure. I just think about, like, if you want a you want range, you want the, different ranges, hand cannon, scout. You don't want to be running if they just so happen to have the same elemental type. I don't know. This is even more than I thought it was initially, for sure. Wow. Yeah, and I can see what you're saying about PvE heavy players. I mean, I'm surprised I haven't seen a little bit more of a, I guess you could say, uproar about this than we have. There's a lot of good vibes going on right now, and a lot of cool things going on and coming in the game. So I just wonder how this is going to feel when we have it in our hands. For sure.
Great question.
Yeah.
So I'm really disappointed to see that happen. I hope that they are able to come up with a solution for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially because it seems as if it would be as simple as having another node of mods that configured elements. I mean, for whatever reason they're saying on weapons, they had to take over that mod slot.
Yeah, just add another one.
Forgive me, I'm not a programmer. Can we not add another mod slot to weapons?
Add another mod slot, or even if once you get a drop of that weapon, when you pull it out of your collection, whatever the cost is, even if it's substantial, maybe it costs more if you do this, you select the elemental type that you want when you pull it out of your collection, Right. I don't know. Obviously, there's a lot more going on the back end than just clicking a couple buttons. But yeah, you would think there would be some sort of, plan for the future. I don't know. I'm thinking even more about this one, man. I mean, I realized it kind of stunk for many players, but wow, there's many layers to this. Well, okay. Moving on.
I just put up a tweet to Josh Hamrick to ask him some clarifications on that. Maybe he'll be able to shed some light on it for us.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got a cool Dreaming City trailer.
Oh my
The Dreaming
goodness.
City, the end game PvE place.
Before I
Destiny 2.
say anything
Forsaken.
on my thoughts, what'd you think?
I mean, I'm mega excited.
Dude,
we saw some interesting things in this trailer.
This trailer, I don't like, even for you and I'm trying to I'm not really trying to temper the hype. I'm going to get hyped no matter what, but I am trying to realize, this is a game you love, but everything may not be absolutely amazing, but wow, does it really seem like this space is going to be unreal? It just looks.
I hate to overhype things,
cool,
but yeah.
I mean, it looks amazing. It looks, and going in the pattern of everything else, all these changes, all this listening to the community, all this moving forward with your ideas as a community and not stepping backwards. It seems like, dude, this space could be the coolest space we've ever experienced in our favorite game.
And developers were tweeting to yesterday, I think, about who have been working on this space particular, saying I've been working on this for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's crazy.
There's definitely some work going.
It's beautiful. It's crazy how different it looks even from what we've had so far.
It's like a dark Rivendell.
Yeah, dude. And then the raids at the center of it all, and I'm really hoping there's an old school VOG, watch people enter it from a public space, and then you flip it and you've got the Ascendant Realm, and it's
right,
what is going on, dude? What this is?
And then they also showed off the what is the Blind Well?
Yes,
they showed that off, which is the we don't have a good name for what this activity is, but it's the horde type activity.
Yep. Yeah, it's been compared, of course, to what we've had in the past, but I'm interested to see if they've innovated even further with it. I really hope. I hope it.
There is a different mechanic for it that's hard to explain in words and on paper, but there's some kind of bubbles that you have to utilize that you jump in and out of.
Yeah.
That I don't know. It's a whole thing. I guess we got to play it, but one thing I did see a designer from Bungie on Twitter was explaining that the play space is basically like a dead end zone.
Mm-hmm.
And so the expectation would be people that are there to do that activity. So you won't have as much
passing
just
through.
Random players passing through doing public events and just different stuff like you do with EP, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be easier to have people that are in there dedicated to the activity and to get people in,
Yeah.
But I was just, after watching this, dude, I was playing with some friends that night, and I was just thinking so much about it, how much there's gonna be to do is mind-boggling.
That's what I was
me.
just about to. I was about to go down that road with you. I feel okay, with Destiny, the launch of Destiny 2, when we popped that in and we launched that for the first time, there was a lot to initially experience. Ultimately we know, some of what happened after a couple months and the depth and this or that, but I feel this release and everything that is coming with it, quality of life, content, new spaces, I don't even realistically know how our brains are going to be able to handle it. For the first couple weeks, I don't know what I'm going to do. Gambit's going to be available pretty early on or right off the bat, they said, because they didn't want to gate that for players. They wanted people to be able to jump in. So there's just we tweeted out today, what are you looking forward to the most? And I tweeted mine, and I totally forgot to even put Gambit in there. I had to tweet again. There's so much, dude.
So many things.
There's so much stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, let's keep on track though, because our hype is outgrowing.
Dude, it is. We're not talking about chips, but this is going to be 3 hours if we're not careful.
All right. Next up, they have a column called "How to Become Legend in Year 2," and they brought on the investment team to talk about progression and economy in season 4. They said, here are our high level goals for progression and economy in season 4. We want to bring back the days when you're impressed when you see someone at max power in the tower. The experience of leveling and then powering up should be meaningful. Players should have a sense of discovery when earning rewards from different activities. When players accomplish something difficult, the rewards should be special or unique. And finally, not all of the sources of power in a week should be apparent on the director. What do you think about just that first bullet point?
Bring back the days?
Yeah.
I like it, man. I almost feel like, we got a little layer of that with Warmind. I know a lot of people are max power now, but they did implement some of that. But I love this, man. I mean,
they slowed it down.
We know that, of course, the max power level is going to be 600. So, wow. I mean, yeah, you're going to see these Guardians in the tower, and you're going to respect that number, right? At least that's the hope. And
that's what their goal is.
Yeah, it's cool.
Next up, they talk about acquisition of power. So in year 1, an activity such as the raid would have an absolute range of power it could generate. Rewards would only grant a small difference in power level, even if you are overcoming the challenge while under level. In Forsaken, we're scaling the power production by the difficulty of that content. If you manage to beat the raid while 40 power under the recommended level, you should expect to receive more potent rewards. Also, these items should never scale down to where they do not give an increase in power. If your power is 100 over an activity's recommended level, it should still grant a reward of at least 1 power level over your current average. This means that players should still benefit when grouping with teammates who haven't accomplished as much as they have. They're creating new sources of power for powerful rewards that refresh on a different cadence in the weekly reset. As a final note on power, they've heard a lot of feedback concerning exotics. So whenever you receive an exotic in Forsaken, it will always be at or above your Guardian's power. So I think this is really interesting how they're explaining that rewards will scale with difficulty. Like, that's really going to incentivize people to try harder things and, like, even artificially create challenges if it's going to mean like a better reward. Cause usually, you go in and okay, the rate is 330. Like, I want to go in at, the highest light I can to make it easier. Well, what if, you go in at 300 and you get a better piece of gear that will help you power up? Like, is that worth it? It's a trade-off. So I want to see how this is implemented, but I do like, say, if I go into a strike, that's at a lower level to help a friend, that I'll still get something powerful so that those activities don't become meaningless,
But that was always the thing in Destiny 1. I mean, strike specific loot, helped that obviously a bit, but we've said this many times on the show, strikes are fun. They are our dungeon instances. So even if you get 1 power level increase, it's nice to always have a reason to do them. I mean, and to be completely honest, man, like, I know a lot of this stuff, I'm sure, isn't easy to fully implement into the game. There's so many moving parts and so many pieces to it. But really, this is how Destiny, how do you say this? This is really how the game should work. I know it's really easy to say that, and there's a lot of community feedback in between point A and point Z. But I'm so glad to see us getting to that place. Like this, all these systems they're talking about and they're telling us about and they're working hard on make complete sense, don't they?
I think so.
Right?
I mean, they've definitely put some thought into these things that are some pretty big changes that, will make some impact on
and
everything that we play,
I want to phrase that in a way that doesn't seem like I'm not acknowledging the work that goes into it. It just, they are implementing things that are going to cater to the Destiny as a game and the way we play it. And that's what we've done together as a community, and working with them and them listening to our feedback. Like, I think we're getting to that place, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
I sure hope so. All right. Next up, they talk about milestones, and they show off a new image of the directory, which has been updated and looks really pretty. Of course, we see some new destinations like Gambit, the Tangled Shore, and the Dreaming City.
One of my favorite things is to see the new director. I'm a complete nerd on the UI and the menus, and to see this was like my favorite thing in the TWAB.
They did move the Leviathan director node to Nessus. That was confirmed by DimG on Twitter, because you don't see it on this new picture. Mm-hmm. Of course, logically, it's not going to be as important of a location anymore, but it's still there.
Yeah, if I don't have my...
There's also a little node that I'm not sure what it's for. Do you see to the right of Earth there? There's a little symbol that looks almost like a snowflake.
Oh, the gold...
looks like a ghost.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah. Not next.
What is that?
I don't know. Yeah.
There's just like this little thing. It looks like almost a snowflake or an open ghost. I'm not sure what it is. It's just like this symbol sitting there.
It's definitely looks substantial enough to be clickable.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
It's interesting.
But they talk about milestones. Basically, when you bring up that milestone tray, with your L2 or what have you, it's going to show you important non-repeatable quests that are ongoing, campaign quests. World quests for destinations will live in the pursuit section of your inventory. Many milestones from year 1 have been converted to activity challenges. They won't be displayed in the milestone tray, but you can see them in the tooltip of an associated activity in the directory. So if you went to like a planet and you hovered over the little icon, you could see if, maybe it was the flashpoint or something else going on there, strike playlist or, something.
Yeah.
Activities. Here's where some big changes come through. Heroic strikes are being retired on August 28th. Now, this is really notable. I thought about this. Heroic strikes are a requirement for some of the solstice armor, which means I don't know if they've thought this through, if they have a plan in place. Doesn't solstice, does it end on the 28th?
I think so. I think it ends on the 28th. Yeah,
so that would coincide with the end. Okay. I was thinking, like, does solstice go till the 4th? In which case there would be a week you couldn't complete it. But I think if it ends the 28th, then that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm almost certain it does.
All right. Problem solved. Crisis averted. All right. So what's happening is, for Forsaken players, there's going to be a new strike playlist with 3 difficulties: Power 300, 400, and 500. Once you're 40 power over a given playlist, it will no longer appear as an option for you to select, which ensures a healthy matchmaking pool when players reach in-game power levels. The Power 500 playlist will always be there, and all strikes will have modifiers. For legacy players, meaning players that do not have Forsaken, the strike playlist matches the legacy playlist that is currently available in year 1. Recommended power 200, and strikes will have modifiers. Now, between August 28th and September 4th, there will not be modifiers available for strike playlists. Next up, Nightfall activities are changing. Prestige difficulty is being retired, but the base difficulty for Nightfall activity will increase. You will also have the ability to choose one of 3 Nightfall strikes each week. What do you think about that?
I don't know. It's, they of course go on to say this because of, partially because of the strikes, the Nightfall specific loot, right? It's interesting. I think I'm okay with it. Does it take away?
I think this is really smart.
Yeah.
And I think it's smart for a couple reasons. One, they bring up because if you want to try to chase a specific unique reward, that gives you a better chance of having that strike come up, right?
I wonder if it's going to be 3 random each week or if it's going to be like a rotating thing.
I think it's going to be curated.
Yeah.
And I think here's why the other thing why I think this is great is because they've always had this problem with Nightfalls with the legacy players where when the new content comes in, it would often be the new strikes and old players couldn't play it.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you every week, one of these strikes is going to be year 1.
Yeah.
And that's going to solve that problem.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
So if you don't buy Forsaken, you'll still be able to run Nightfalls.
I wondered if it would there's 3 and then 1 goes away and 1 gets added, 1 goes away, 1 gets added, or if it's going to be more of
probably just be like 3 new ones every week, but
they'll cater it to that.
One of them always a year 1,
yeah.
And the other 2 could be random or they could be curated.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure one of them will be a Forsaken strike for a long time, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point, man. I wondered if it would, take away. I don't, thinking it through. I don't see how it could take away from like any exclusivity of the feeling of a Nightfall strike. Who cares? There's 3 options. Go play them, right?
Yeah, and then the other opportunity this gives them is to make PlayStation exclusive strikes Nightfalls for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Because that has never been the case. Because then we'll just have only 2 to choose from on Xbox side. I'm not saying I like that, but it makes that possible. So I think this is a really cool idea. They're getting ready. It seems like they're getting rid of the strike scoring. I'm not certain on that. It says, legacy players will still be able to enable modifiers on their challenge cards. Scoring will not be available for legacy players in the 270 power Nightfall. So I'm not sure. Maybe they are keeping scoring, but there's no prestige. So I don't know if that matters. I don't know. I'm sure we'll get some more information about it. Meditations being retired, replaced with Heroic Story playlist. New campaign missions featured at 500 power, while old will be set to a power level relative to their release. Ikora's Vanguard Research Reputation tokens will no longer be used as a currency after August 28th, will be removed from players' inventories, which means that the gear she sells, which is apparently called the Legendary Parade gear, the first time they've ever noted.
Yep.
There we go with that parade again.
Yep.
That parade that got cut from the game. This is my tinfoil hat theory. If you want it, you got to get it before August 28th.
Dude, I have the framed poster of the OG Titan parade armor. It makes me, I said a couple episodes ago, I did grind all that armor out, but I don't think I did. I think I just got like the shoulders because I liked the way they looked or something. Now it like makes me.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So.
Heroic adventures are being added to all destinations. When that destination is the flashpoint, one adventure will be selected to be heroic per day with the exceptions of Mercury and Mars. These will function as they currently do, but they'll gain an additional adventure per day when they're the featured flashpoint.
I missed this said per day. I was kind of a little like, what? Just one? But it's for that week that it is a flashpoint. There will be a different heroic adventure every day of that reset.
Yeah. So the heroic adventure will change each day.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Finally, a cool addition here is activity modifiers will be shared across heroic adventures, heroic story missions, and strikes. This ensures that each day you know what to expect from the PvE content that you play as a ritual, and that when we balance and tune modifiers, it's happening across the game. This will include 1 weekly singe, 1 daily buff, and 1 daily debuff.
Dude, this is another example. There's many examples of this in this TWAB. It just seems like Destiny 2 is becoming like a very fine-tuned, well-oiled machine. Like, this makes complete sense, right?
Oh, totally, yeah. It's so like synergistic and like it makes sense just across like the different activities and yeah, it just works. Yeah. You know, you could put on the gear that you want to run for that stuff and then go run these concurrently because they're planning. Like, that's how people will plan to play. Like, they like when there's synergy in the game.
Yeah. Yep.
And that makes sense for the players.
I'm already getting that feeling of like, let's go run our 3 Nightfalls like times 100 right now. Like, we're going to have our weekly routines.
Yeah.
You know?
The rituals, man.
Yeah,
it's all about the rituals.
Yep.
Finally, Brawler and Grenadier modifiers will have their recharge times adjusted to ensure they're noticeable. Adjusting your equipment for either also has a rather significant impact. We've seen some pretty crazy plays by the new Solar Hunter in our playtest. Some experienced players out there may be reminded of the feelings found when they equipped nothing manacles in the past. What is the new Solar Hunter's Brawler and Grenadier? Like, what are their melee and grenade options? I don't remember.
The new Solar Hunter?
Yeah, he's the one with the throwing knives.
Yeah, throws the fire knives.
But I can't remember what. All right. I'm going to go look that up later. Okay.
So much, dude.
Economy updates. So, destination materials will become your main source of reputation on their respective destinations. So, bye-bye tokens. They will be a part of the cost to infuse different weapons and armor across your arsenal. Does this sound familiar, Aeronaut? Does this bring back any flashbacks to grinding
farming
spin metal
materials, looking up paths to run and memorizing them?
Year 1 challenges that granted reputation tokens are being retired, but will be replaced by bounties offered on each destination that provide destination materials. Destination tokens and rare destination materials are no longer awarded, but you can redeem them for reputation if you have them in your inventory. Anything that previously granted destination tokens or rare materials will reward common destination materials moving forward. Wow. So tokens seem like they're just, at least for the planetary stuff, are just going to be gone.
Yeah. I don't think too many
And we're basically going to
be
just work with those, you know, if you don't understand what that means, like Dusklight.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of all these things. Like,
no, I love that it does give that value again, right? I mean, they don't have a lot of value right now.
Yeah, they were just, you would turn them in for rep.
Yeah. I mean,
packages.
I don't think a lot of players will mind the tokens going away in any shape or form, but I just wonder if we do. I'm glad the materials will have more value. I hope it seems substantial, but if we end up having to farm it again, it would be hilarious if people wanted tokens back.
My guess is like, and that's people, you know, Destiny 1 players immediately are worried like, oh God, we're going to have like hundreds of destination materials to use our weapons. All right. Here's some counterpoints. On the bright side, we don't have to upgrade weapons anymore, right?
Yeah.
This is just for infusion that you have to worry about this. Now, we don't know what the economy is going to be like, but keep in mind that all those tokens you get that you stack up, that you get from doing patrols, public events, challenges, on and on and on, you're going to be getting those materials instead.
Yeah.
Probably the place that you're going to need these the most are going to be the new destinations, the Tangled Shore and the Dreaming City, in which case you're going to be doing a lot of activities on those places.
Right.
And so it's probably going to be a generous economy, and you might have to do things to get materials if you're like infusing a ton of stuff, which is going to happen. But I don't think it's going to be that problem we had in Destiny 1 where you literally had to go farm materials for hours to upgrade your stuff.
I mean, I like fully want to say it for anybody listening that didn't play Destiny 1, like there's no exaggeration here. We would look up on YouTube the most efficient way to run in a circle on a planet. And
I could go right now and I could show you spin metal material runs with my eyes closed.
Yep.
chests
and
and spin metal and glitches so and just you name it.
Because you would know like where you needed to jump to see if that chest was there, and if it wasn't, you moved right along to where the next one might be.
Yep.
Oh, back in the day.
Yeah, some people were definitely triggered, but I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Here's a big one to keep in mind though. Gunsmith, they're changing the economy for the gunsmith from 40 mats for reputation package to 100. So all those gunsmith materials that you have right now just lost their value by like 1 point something times.
Yeah. You're sitting on almost 2,000 right now, dude.
Yeah. So that's like, you thought that was X amount of packages. It's only 20 now.
Yeah.
Instead of like 45 or 50. I doubt that's why they did that. I'm sure they're changing some part of the economy with materials where likely you're going to get more gunsmith materials. But who knows? I'm sure they had a reason for that.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine all the spamming of tokens and materials, if not implemented a little bit.
Iron Banner, Vanguard, and Crucible tokens may be redeemed at their respective season, at their respective vendors in season 4 that were from season 3. Here's the big one. Just kind of snuck in here. Trials of the Nine will be on hiatus during season 4.
I found out.
And its reputation tokens will not be redeemable.
I found out.
Hold up. Stop the presses.
Dude, I missed this. Dreadnought, shout out. Your tweet was what made me go back and figure out why I missed this.
Twitter was going nuts.
Dude, I mean, just real briefly, like, my initial impression of this was like, what? No way. This is straight up the only thing, I think, so far, minus maybe the 3-character grind for that exotic ship, that doesn't fully make sense to me. The more I processed it and thought about it, it's like, Trials is just such a staple activity, and with all this stuff coming to the Crucible, Trials really ignites the PvP side of the community, and it is an excitement every weekend. And I'm like, wait, this seems odd. The more I thought about it, chatted with some people, if they were ever going to do it and kind of revamp it and relaunch it, right now is probably the time, because we're going to be extremely distracted, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to be thinking about Trials.
And they're launching a new game mode.
Yeah, Gambit they're launching. I still think Gambit is going to be awesome. I think its levels of staying power, I think are going to, we'll see. I think is going to be right up there with Trials. I still think it's a completely different activity. Trials is definitely still needed. But
yeah, I don't think it's a replacement.
Right.
But at the same time,
busy, at least,
I think it gives it a better chance.
Very true. That's a good point. Yeah, that might have been, I'm sure, in the decision-making process, right? To me,
I don't think it's because of that.
Yeah. To me, one of my thoughts was Trials being reworked. To me, should have been, on the table long time ago. So it is surprising that it's not, at least coming halfway into the season or something. But I mean, I respect the decision. I think there's a lot of factors, that I didn't even consider that, honestly, Cyborg giving Gambit a chance to breathe a little while, And I think, again, if there was ever a time they were going to, just give it a hiatus, this is the time to do it, because we're going to have so much to do.
And look, best case scenario, right? Season 5 or whatever they're going to call it is probably going to start in December.
Yeah. Yep.
And let's hope that they're able to get something ready that soon, but that's not that far off.
It's not. Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of other competitive PvP experiences to be had in the world.
Yeah, for sure. Again, distractions.
I mean, I know that sounds like a huge consolation prize, and that's the last thing I want is for people to be, not get what they want out of the game, but I mean, I think that it's a pretty common opinion that Trials need some love.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
and you're right. Like, this is the best time
This is the time to do it. I think even, solely PvP players can, I'm sure, agree with that. The thing is I'm a big Trials player. I used to, every weekend, dude, I waited for Mantis to tweet out the map. and we played every Friday night, multiple cards. And I want more than anything, especially with these major sandbox changes, I'm so hoping that feeling returns. And if I have to wait for a season for them to take the time, I said on Twitter today, I'm like, it's like a game delay, you know, like I will wait for a well-polished, fun experience than get a mediocre one, you know, too soon. So yeah, I'm more than happy to do it after further thinking.
Yeah.
So,
all right, next up, we're talking about Iron Banner. Lord Saladin comes back for his final appearance in season 3 next this reset when you're hearing this episode, Tuesday, August 14th. Control, and we've got some changes. So there's these cool new fire pits replacing the control flags.
Love these touches, dude.
Yep. There's a new power play rule that we talked about. Capturing all 3 zones locks them down for 20 seconds and resets them at the end. There's also, they didn't mention this, but they have like some cool like sound effects and stuff that happens when you do certain things in the game types. And yeah, they put some spit and polish on Iron Banner. I'm excited.
Little things like this I think go a really long way, dude. Like it's just going to give Iron Banner some character, right? Make it neat.
Next up, they talk about power mattering in Iron Banner in Season 4. Iron Banner will be updated to enable power level advantages like the days of old. All players of Destiny 2 can participate. Year 2 rewards featuring random rolls and compatibility with Year 2 mods will also be available to all players. Players who acquire new power during their adventures in Forsaken will have an advantage, but we don't want to exclude anyone who wants to compete in Iron Banner and reap the rewards. Those rewards will be capped for legacy players at their maximum power available. They talk again about Trials of the Nine will be unavailable for the duration of Season 4. The design team is putting it back on the workbench to make a fitting challenge for the hardcore warrior. When the weekly activity returns, it will feature updated rewards, power advantages, and other gameplay changes. Final weekend, Season 3 Trials of the Nine will take place on the weekend of August 24th.
There you have it.
I'm a little worried about this power advantage with the legacy player.
Mm-hmm.
If power really does matter, and we're talking a jump from a legacy player who can max out at 385 or 405 to a max level player in Forsaken being 600, and they're arguing that that's going to be playable for that player. Mm-hmm. How much does that power actually matter?
Yeah, dude, this just reminds me again of back in the day. Do you remember what used to always be the big topic of conversation and the breakdown? Like people would do like charts and curve charts of how
they
much
used to give us bar graphs on how
power
worked
really mattered. Yeah, and people would break it down in the community, and obviously people always wanted it to matter more. So this reminds me of our conversation last week. People are talking about matchmaking now. If we can get to a place where people are talking about the curve of power mattering in Iron Banner, we're getting back to a pretty good place.
I'm just worried about them falling into the same trap that they used
Very
to,
true.
where because it needed to be inclusive for everybody, it didn't achieve the goal that they set out to do, which was the power actually mattering. They're saying we want it to really matter if you hit max power in this game. Well, if that's true and you go into an activity where power level advantages are taking place, you should have an advantage. It should make a difference. And if a 405 level player can step foot in this activity and actually compete, how much does that matter?
Yeah, I see the challenge here. Iron Banner is a very social PvP experience, and I see the challenge of wanting power to matter, please the community there, but then also I see that you want it, using the word casual, to be a little bit more casual of an experience. If you're going to say power matters, how much should it matter? That's different to everyone. What do we want?
The epitome Destiny problem of trying to be all things to all people.
Yeah.
And when they when Destiny tries to do that, it ultimately fails at something.
Well, I mean, was a big piece of the core game of Destiny 2, right?
Yep.
So, again, in this instance, we can use the classic phrase of it seems to be a step in the right direction because at least power matters, but it does sound like, I think you're right that we might fall into that same zone of how much does it really
I hate
matter?
to naysay before we have the actual product in hand, but the math just doesn't add up there to me.
Yeah.
It just literally seems like the same pitfall that we've seen for 3 years when they did the same. How do they have that problem and not have made a solution? Or, I mean, the solution was in Destiny 2 for power no longer to matter in that activity, so that they could achieve that goal of making it an inclusive activity. So it was social and everybody could participate. Yeah. So why would you make the choice to suddenly make power matter and quite honestly half-ass it to get there?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense for trials to be pretty severe in power mattering. We also have the massive climb to 600.
For me, it makes less sense in trials because trials is a PvP competitive exclusive activity.
Yes.
Where it's almost backwards to me. The guys who mainline trials are the most hardcore PvP players that want to spend their time in PvP instead of chasing a power level.
Yeah.
If anything, it should not matter there and everybody's on the same playing field. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. I mean, to me, though, if we're talking about power mattering, Trials is the pinnacle in-game PvP experience, and I could see where it could be the most hardcore, substantial, you better go in there, high power level. But then I also do see your point. That's them, again, trying to also cater to the competitive community, and we see where that takes us and what road that takes us down. So, I mean, I see the challenge here. I was going to ask you too before we move on, how do other types of games handle this? I played World of Warcraft, but not a lot. The thing they always have a challenge with is the classic requiring DLCs for future DLCs because you do things in those spaces, you revisit them. Iron Banner is an activity that everyone has access to. And, another challenge is someone comes into the game, they don't buy Forsaken and they want to, play this activity. What's the decision there? Sorry, you can't. You got to spend more money. Or we try to cater to what the updated current player wants and still include these players. It's what you just said a minute ago. Where do you draw the line? And I feel like right. Iron Banner is definitely a unique Destiny. The way Destiny is structured and activities like Iron Banner, I don't know. It
puts it in a weird middle spot.
Yeah.
But they need to make a choice that matters.
Yeah. It needs to be
I was okay.
one end or the other, right?
Yeah. I was okay with it not having power matter because they made the choice so that it would be inclusive and everybody could play and everybody's on an even playing field. And it was fine. Mm-hmm. It was just about being competitive, just skill.
See, and that's where I think Iron Banner is more of a social, fun PvP experience. Go in with your fire team, have a good time, and just shoot things. And that's why I think it does make sense to me, even though I understand your competitive angle. I get the aspect of them not having to grind power level. They just want to go in, play Crucible. They don't want to do the PvE. But it does make sense to me, too, that power matters in Trials. But we're back on the conversation. I mean, we were excited, at least I was, a few episodes about power, coming back. But when you really talk about it like this, in depth.
I was until they just water it down again.
Yeah, it's we'll see.
If it matters, make it matter.
Yeah.
Don't try to grandfather everybody in so that it matters, but not really. You can still play.
There is a certain level.
You're going to do 5 more damage with that, hand cannon shot. Come on.
I think we do have to acknowledge, though, while we don't want them to cater to all players and make it extremely casual, there is a certain level where they do need to do that. It is acceptable that they do that. And I feel like Iron Banner falls into that category. It makes sense that they want everybody to be able to play it. So maybe the answer is here, power shouldn't matter in Iron Banner. Maybe
I feel like they're trying to, on one hand, make power an important value by adding its importance to more activities
on the PvP
but then
side.
On the other hand, they're trying to retain, like, okay, we don't want to alienate player base that doesn't buy Forsaken. We want them to play this and want to buy Forsaken, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever it is that they're trying to achieve there. And in the end, it waters things down. Like, like that makes power actually matter less.
Yeah. Trying to make it matter.
Like, you just shot yourself in the foot there.
Yeah.
And I may just be putting the cart way before the horse here. I mean, we need to see how it plays. I mean, God forbid, maybe these guys go in 405 and just get shredded.
Yeah.
You know, that's a possibility. That's not the Bungie I know anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I do appreciate trying to bring power mattering back into the Crucible side of things. I mean, I like the idea of power mattering. It's just the challenge of implementing.
Great idea, but you got to execute it right.
Yeah. Yep.
You got to commit to it.
Yep.
You know, it's the equivalent of saying that power matters. You know, power would matter in a 500 Nightfall, but you can play it at 400 and do fine. It's like, well, okay, but like, does it matter?
Yeah. I mean, this could be an example of community provides feedback. You know, we think we know what would be better, and then we realize, you know, wait, maybe after implementation,
see.
not so much.
It's not the most important thing in the game. Yeah. It's just like,
well,
guys, we've been here before. Yeah. How many times do we have to make this mistake again?
A little over a month, and we'll be able to report officially.
Yeah,
Guardians.
We'll talk about it then. Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to get off my high horse. Next up on the chopping block, Faction Farewell. So, long story short, the community responded with a lot of feedback about faction rallies and the renowned mechanic. To sum it up, many of people expressed the following: I don't want to feel forced to participate in every instance of the event each season, and make the event progression a little bit less hardcore and more engaging. So, when Season 4 begins, faction rallies will be on hiatus. That will give them an opportunity to focus on some other areas of the game that need attention and reevaluate some of the fundamental aspects of the event. Faction tokens will not be redeemable during that time. And for players who are unable to acquire specific exotic weapon catalysts, we're working on a new way for you to earn them. They will not be available at the beginning of Season 4, but we will provide more information on where to find these rewards when they do become available.
Yeah, dude.
I'm actually happy that they're putting this on hiatus because, good Lord, that is like a mega grind.
Yeah. And
I don't think we're going to have time for that.
Yeah, they definitely have not. While initially it seemed like an upgrade in fun, it was in a way. They have not hit the mark with faction rallies. There is so much potential there.
Some more iteration.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I know what that potential or what those ideas are. I'm just saying faction rallies really seem like the community's had great ideas. It seems like they could really do something substantial with it. So unlike trials, I'm okay if it goes on hiatus for longer than even a season.
Yeah. Next up, we talk about Eververse, and we see a picture of a cool new thing in Destiny, which is something they call ghost projections.
It's interesting.
So what we're seeing is a picture of a ghost, and he's got a projection of a jade rabbit above its body. Just kind of interesting looking.
It looks kind of... I'm interested to see more. It looks almost a little it looks odd.
It's different for sure.
Yeah. I want to see more examples.
Yeah. It shows up when you just, when you hit your ghost button in your navigation.
Yeah. Like I'm all for customization,
mode.
But we'll see more examples.
So for the Eververse, their goals and philosophies are provide players with more data, So they're going to share Bright Engram reward probabilities on Bungie.net and provide players their private purchase history on Bungie.net. Now, I think this is really important, the reward probabilities. This is something that they're going to have to do by law in certain countries that have passed laws about loot boxes and gambling. So I was wondering when they were going to do something, because if they didn't in a couple of these places, they could not have the Eververse. But I think it's going to be interesting to go in and see like what your probabilities of attaining certain things are going to be. Mm-hmm. Next, give players more choices to earn rewards the way they want. So we're going to have a full season of the Prismatic Matrix and a free weekly Prismatic Facet. We'll get more Bright Dust earned from new bounties and allow players new ways to customize their Guardians through ghost projections, legendary weapon skins, and new exotic ornaments and emotes.
Yeah. They say a weekly facet. I mean, we got that anyways upon leveling
that's something
up.
we were getting.
So I assume it's
and I think they're going to retain.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be the same. It's just that the Prismatic Matrix thing only lasted like a certain time, and now it's going to last all season.
Yeah.
So Eververse bounties. We will have basically 3 different tiers of bounties that cost something called bounty notes and reward 20, 70, and 150 Bright Dust each. The bounties refresh weekly. You can acquire as many as you want for the bounty notes that you have. I don't know how you get these bounty notes. Sure. My guess is maybe they come from the engrams or something, or you buy them with Bright Dust. I'm not sure. They cost 1, 3, and 6 Eververse bounty notes. You can carry 1 of each type at a time, and they expire 7 days after acquisition. Kind of a cool little thing.
Yeah.
They talk about Prismatic Matrix. We covered that. Bright Dust. The values gained from dismantling Eververse items will still be granted at a fixed rate. So you'll know what you'll get for dismantling certain things.
Thank you.
They'll have collections for the Eververse items that will work just like all the other items, except for Year 2 Eververse armor, because they have random rolls, cannot be reacquired from the collections. Current season Eververse items that have not been required will not display in the collections interface. Excuse me. These are a lot of tough words.
Once again,
they are adding legendary weapon ornaments to the Bright Engram. They're unlocked to count wide like other ornaments. Also the ghost projections. And what else we got here? Weapon and armor mods will no longer be dropping from Bright Engrams. You'll now receive bounty notes. There you go. So they're kind of like those 3rd tier of stuff that drop when you open Bright Engrams. Of course, we talked about random perks from Eververse armor. If you get those from an engram, they're random. If you get them from sources like the Prismatic Matrix and Bright Dust Storefront, they will have fixed perks. Finally, a reminder, Bright Engrams do not drop until you hit the level cap. That will continue in Forsaken, but as you complete pre-Forsaken campaigns, they'll be rewarded with an Eververse gift package tailored to each experience, which will include Bright Engrams. All right.
Wow. I was going to say, I enjoy the Prismatic Matrix. We're going to get more Bright Dust, but it doesn't sound like we're still going to get more ways to direct purchase with the Bright Dust. Does it?
Not seemingly. I guess the Prismatic Matrix is their solution for that.
Yeah. So, well, again, I don't mind the Prismatic Matrix. All right, Crucible Labs. Of course, we know that Lockdown was the most recent. Did you play Lockdown at all?
I did not.
I did not either. We really got to make it to the labs more often.
I know.
Even being the Crucible player I am, I've been spending a lot of time in PvE naturally right now because of Solstice of Heroes. But anyways, overall, they even say it in here that Lockdown was pretty well received. People seem to enjoy it. But we are getting next Showdown again, which we've had gotten previously, but they got a lot of feedback on Showdown. If I remember correctly, a lot of players described it as kind of turning into somewhat of a camp fest, players turtling up a bit with the way it was designed. So they're tweaking Showdown. Round limit has been reduced to 90 seconds. Rounds now have a score limit of 10. Revives are now enabled, and reviving a teammate before they respawn will take the point back from your opponents. They say whether you played Showdown on the first labs or this will be your first time, we hope that you'll drop in for a few matches and, of course, provide feedback. They say, as with Lockdown, labs will continue to drop standard Crucible rewards and contribute to your Valor rating. So your time spent here will also count, working through your ranks, triumphs, and armor. So that's good, man. I love that they added that with labs. It's how you spend your time playing, and, you know, many players, if not, I'm sure probably all of them, you know, Crucible labs, you want to be rewarded for the time you're spending in there. So of course you want to experience the new modes and all that, but you don't want to go do things for very long if you're not progressing in the game in some way, shape, or form, even if it's material or random loot drops and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, guys, we need to spend more time in the labs.
I'm going to try to go check this one out.
Yes, we'll try to do that. You guys tweet at us at Destiny Reset. Have you been spending time in the labs, Crucible Labs? Let us know what you've thought of these game modes. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Valor for All. They say they know we've been working on our Solstice armor, and we've noticed a few objectives tied to the Crucible. They say leading up to the beginning of year 2, you'll see multiple opportunities to earn Valor points at an accelerated rate. So we're getting several Valor, double and triple XP events here coming up. So double Valor rank, the reset of August 10th. Actually, is this?
Yeah, it's like
weekend to weekend.
Yeah, starting this weekend that we're recording.
Wow.
Not even on reset. It's just like,
is it Saturday to Saturday?
Yeah. Friday to Friday.
Oh, is it Friday to Friday? Yeah. Friday to Friday. So, okay, August 10th through August 17th. You guys are already obvious and very knowingly that that's going on. Triple Valor weekend will be August 17th through August 21st. And then final double Valor weekend will be August 24th through August 28th. DMG shot out a tweet, maybe it might have been a few days ago, last week, basically saying that as of right now, we will only see these types of events in Valor. That it's not going to happen in Glory, and I am completely fine with that. I think Glory is where we don't need to see accelerated events like this. Valor is the place for it.
That makes sense.
I'm glad to see this, dude, because I have prestiged reset, if you will, once in Valor, but I didn't play. I wasn't able to play a ton when we got that first one. And I'm kind of happy to see this because I want that with all this other stuff going on, I haven't spent a ton of time in the Crucible, and I do want, just for my collection, that exotic ghost shell. Right?
Yeah, now that they're going to have this, I might I didn't reset mine, but I might reset it now.
Yeah.
To try to get that.
It's again, the list of things that I'm going to try to get before the new season starts. Another one is the exotic ghost shell for going flawless. Holy cow, I don't know if that one's in range, but there's just a lot of stuff, man, to put in the collection, as always. So, anyways.
Next up in Destiny player support, we've got hotfix 1.2.3.2 coming at us Monday, August 13th. Probably by the time you hear this, they're going to fix some stuff with interactions with the Statue of Heroes. Not sure what else. They detail some vital information about Solstice armor, and some different things that people are having trouble with. Like, one is achieving legend rank in Valor Crucible standings. If you already have it maxed out with a Valor score of 2000, then you basically just go complete one match and it will activate that. People have asked about that. Players who achieved maximum Valor ranking before the start and reset your Valor ranking if it's not already marked as complete, you may need to do the same, complete an additional match. Finally, if you see that a percentage, I guess, goal on one of your armors are maxed out at 100, they're saying it might be a rounding error. If it's 100%, go try to do that thing again, so it will really max it out. If it's not marked as complete, it's kind of a weird thing to have happen there. But they list some more stuff, known issues. Go check those out if you're having any trouble with any solstice related things. And then finally, we get movies of the week. Did you check out this Faction Rallies dance off video?
I watched part of it.
It's kind of cool, man.
Yeah.
I like the editing and the song and stuff.
Yeah. The deep bass, dubstep-ish, really.
They did a good
sets
job.
it off.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
It's a winner. Go check that out. And then
the bouncing loot.
Bouncing frame.
It's funny, dude. That one was pretty funny.
Yeah. So go check out those movies of the week, as always. Some good stuff.
It's all about the editing.
Yep.
I mean, the content is important, but man, you can do some stuff with editing.
Yep. Presentation.
Yes.
All right. That is the TWAB.
All right. We didn't have anything else this week. No reveal stream or anything like that. So I guess we'll
we can wrap this up, right?
No.
Let's talk about the year 2 combat reveal stream.
Yeah. This was a nice fun stream.
Oh, where to start?
Where do we even start? I mean, the focus is main focus is weapon depth. I mean, I know the other main focus is crucible lethality, TTK changes, but wow, did we learn a lot about the depth we're going to see with weapons, didn't we?
Yes. We saw details of Masterworks and mod system, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was really interesting how they implemented the mods. It's very straightforward. I like the system. You don't have to necessarily go pick up mods, right? Like you see everything that's available. You get to select it, you purchase it, you implement it, right?
Right. Yeah.
As far as I understand, unless you have to have those in your inventory already, I'm not certain.
Oh, I think you do have to have them.
Do you?
The mods. I think you do have to have them because the other really neat, it was confusing because it looked like it was just a default selection you just choose. But you get, when you break down a weapon, whether it was a drop or one you implemented, that you get the equipped mod back when dismantling a weapon. So that's such a simple thing, but it adds so much depth because if you get a drop, you don't care for the gun, but it does have a mod you want, you are guaranteed to get that mod that is equipped back. So I'm pretty certain that you do actually have to have the mods.
I was, for some reason, I was just under the assumption that you just had access to all the mods and you just bought them, but that makes a total more sense. They just had them all in their inventory.
I think so. Yeah.
They just didn't show the actual mods in their inventory, but they did cost, they were like 5K glimmer to apply one, and they had some cool mods in there. You know, they had like
Icarus.
Yeah, Icarus. They had rangefinder, you know, all kinds of interesting mods that you could add to these different weapons that are going to add, you know, a great way to improve it.
There were at least probably 10 to 12 that they had on there that they went through.
For hand cannons, they were showing off, and there was probably at least 10 different ones.
It's just they're mods that mean something. They're catering to a certain play style. There was even one that said extra damage to bosses, I think, or something of that nature, or mini bosses or something, I think. So it's not only catering to your play style, but some of them catering to your activity preference or choice, right?
I didn't notice that.
I'm almost certain the last one was
PvE
something about bosses.
Awesome on weapons, so.
Yeah. So it's just more depth with weapons. Yeah. That's what we've been asking for a while.
Now, the Masterwork system was really interesting because it's not a 0-1, zero-sum game. Like, you masterwork it, and then there's 10 levels of improvement, basically. So if you got a masterwork stat for range, you start out with like a +1 modifier and it goes all the way up to +10, and you have to raise it one level at a time, and each level required more and more materials, both legendary shards, the masterwork cores, and then I think
they said, I think the math was that it's going to take, I want to say 10,000 glimmer. I don't remember the shards.
Somebody told me 17,
and I think 17 cores.
Yeah, dude, goodness,
that's a lot of cores. Yeah, I think I again, there's so much information going out. I want to say on a different feed somewhere, it has been mentioned that we will, well, I don't know. I can't confirm this. I'm hoping we can get cores different ways.
Yeah, hopefully there's a better, steadier supply. I mean, I hoard them. Like, I don't pay to masterwork a lot of weapons. Like, I get them to drop, you know? And I only have about 70. Yeah. Which is a lot right now.
I only have like 30, and I don't want to infuse anything or masterwork anything right now.
Like crazy. I want everything though in the game.
And I missed in the I tweeted at Hamrick and he answered, but I'm like, Ping answered this on the stream. I missed it. Like, my bad. When I was done watching it, I'm like, you know, it's cool. We're not getting a ton of depth with the masterwork system, but it is more depth and it's more substantial, and I like it. But I initially thought we also weren't seeing a change in the stat increase, but we are. They even said it on stream. Right now, you get like a 5% bonus when you masterwork something. It makes complete sense in the math area. With the 10 leveling system, you get up to like a 10% increase in whatever stat. For example, the one on the stream was a hand cannon, and you can't get this right now, but it was range. And basically once you fully masterwork it, you get a 10% increase in your range, on it. So, that's a plus. I had some follow-up questions though, so I watched the stream, that portion of the stream a couple times, and I don't know that they said for sure if the stat that you get is random. And
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I followed up and asked Hamrick like two things. I wanted to know, is the stat random? Because I didn't see anywhere on the stream where you could change it from range. It actually said on the tooltip of the masterwork, like the level of the masterwork, and it said range. So I'm thinking your masterwork stat is determined when the weapon drops, and you can't change it. That's interesting, right? Because that adds a whole nother layer to rolls on weapons.
Yeah, because what if you get like a perfect roll, but it rolls like magazine or something on a auto?
So,
you know what I mean?
It is. I really hope we get clarification on that, because at some point, obviously, we will. But that adds a substantial layer to it, big time.
Because now you can re-roll that stat
with cores,
like whatever you get with cores.
Yeah, it makes sense that you'd be able to re-roll that, but they did not say, and we didn't see any sort of tooltip that I know of on the stream for that. The other thing I wanted to know is when you fully masterwork something, you open up, I believe, a 5th column, which is what perks. Right now we determine when we masterwork, and it can't be changed. You open up whether or not the weapon, you can say not to, or to track Crucible kills or PvE kills. And it doesn't cost anything, and you can just cycle between them. I want to know if you can do that at any time, back and forth, and it will always show you your current stats. Or if it's a choose and you're done.
Reset?
Does it reset? Yeah. So anyways, that's something else I was wondering.
Okay.
But moving on.
Questions.
Hopefully we get clarification on that.
Yeah, so, but I really like what we saw overall there. Like, that adds so much depth, like, beyond random rolls. Like, there's so much more depth between this, like, between the random rolls and the masterworks and just everything that they're doing. There's going to be so much more depth to the weapon system, and it's add a lot of value to those, getting repeats of weapons and just everything.
Yeah. We're just talking about weapons, man. That's what's crazy. Right. Random rolls is crazy substantial, but they've said they don't just want to revert back. And when you add Masterworks, when you add the mods, right now when I play, dude, every time I see a legendary engram pop out of an enemy, I still get a little excited because you just do. It's loot. But I know I'm 9.9 times out of 10, I'm going to shard the thing. Now, every time you get something, dude, like that excitement is back. When Forsaken drops, and I cannot wait for that. I absolutely can't wait. So
we're gonna kind of get the major points of this stream. One other thing that they talked about, they didn't show armor mods, but they did mention that mods related to cooldowns on armor are because you're gonna have two different stats that roll. I believe you're gonna have one related to ammo economy, and you're going to have one related to abilities. And the ability related to cooldowns, they said stacking those, if you stack them, I guess as many as you could, can improve your cooldown. They said don't hold us to this stat, we haven't landed on it perfectly, but we think it's going to be up to 60%. It's pretty substantial.
If I saw in the community already doing the math, is faster than D1, possibly.
Which is what you'd hope for, right?
Yeah.
Something that actually has some impact. I think now, the best you can do is a 20 to 30% increase in abilities if you have a full stack on all your armor.
Well, they also said in the stream, we'll get to several of these things, but grenades, they still want their role to be
an opener.
An opener. Yeah, it's they're not one hit kills. So even if you're getting them that fast, they're still just to support your gameplay, not be the lethal aspect.
Which I think is important. For PvE, they're important for area of effect or map control or let me take out these 4 thrall real quick or whatever, right? But in PvP, you don't want grenades to just be a spam tool.
Right.
So I think it's important that they maintain that.
That was a big thing in Destiny 1.
Yeah.
Nades everywhere.
So let's talk about some of the biggest changes here with PvP lethality. 2-hit melee kills return.
Yes.
This is so important, dude.
It is very, very,
I'm so happy about this change.
I can't, just my experience, can't tell you how many times I've died because I have to triple melee somebody.
Yeah. It's pointless. It's just dumb. Yeah. I hate to I'm not saying that
even as a Titan.
I don't mean to be so blunt and criticizing, choices that were made, but when you're up close with somebody, you're just looking at them and trading punches bam.
Right.
Bam,
yeah.
Bam.
It's you could say make smarter choices in your engagement and don't put yourself in that position. Yes, you could, but 2 melees just makes sense. It's I think we can all agree on that, right? Mostly.
Yeah. 3 tap hand cannons.
Yep. They showed us 2 body and 1 crit.
Yeah.
Is that what we saw? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we saw a pretty lethal hand cannon. People are speculating. I don't know that it was confirmed, but that it may be the new ranked Crucible reward.
Yeah, I think that's huge speculation.
People saw a perk, I think, on screen that was a unique perk. It wasn't a general perk we've seen before, so people are speculating that it is some sort of Crucible reward.
Yeah. But basically, it granted increased damage. I think...
It's after a couple hits, I think it increased. Yeah. Damage. It was taking them out.
It was nasty.
It really was. It was.
1-hit shoulder charge.
Hello.
I'm assuming this is going to be the same for the shoulder charge-esque abilities for the Sentinel and the Sunbreaker.
You'd think so.
I would just hope.
Striker. Yeah.
I certainly hope. But yeah.
This is an interesting one. Everybody seems excited about it. Definitely the Titans.
I've complained about how weak that feels, so I'm pretty...
Well, plus you still feel like you stop. You know, it's not even used really as a momentum mobility thing anymore. That's all we used it for a lot in Destiny
still
1.
is.
So, yeah.
It
I mean, it
still
is, but it doesn't feel the same.
It's not all it's for, though. It's not the
Yeah.
only utility. It was a lot more utilitarian in that way then.
Yeah.
But
I just don't use it very much to get around the map anymore because it feels so sluggish when you come out of it still. I don't know what the difference is. You give me D1 shoulder charge mobility filling with a garrison again. Oh boy.
Oh yikes.
Anyways.
Yeah. I bet if you played on PC though, you would feel a little bit differently.
You're probably right. Yeah. But you can skate on PC too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll take one hit shoulder charges.
I think it's fine because there's a high risk, high reward thing. Like,
yep.
Especially with 2-hit melee kills. Like if you miss and people have primary shotguns, like,
yep.
Yikes.
Yep. And a hunter now just has to jump over you, like you said, and melee twice. You're toast.
Huge upgrade here for Night Stalkers. The anti-super capability from the tether is, they basically said it's going to be instantaneous and reliable.
We've been to similar places before, similar discussions. It has to be. That super has to do that, right?
Oh, yeah. For it to work. I shouldn't be able to escape it in my super, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Storm Chariot's damage has increased. Throwing knife damage has increased. Golden Gun gets 2 seconds more of searching time, 9 seconds instead of 7. Rift Healing increased to account for faster time to kill, as well as the buff that you get off of it. And then Empowering Rift damage will increase and now increases precision damage.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that I think these are just some examples they gave. I think that they mentioned all the supers have been tuned to account for higher lethality across the Crucible. But these are just some examples that they gave as far as the supers and other things.
Yeah, they say many times
as well have been tuned.
Yeah. They say many times in the stream, like, I think it's important we acknowledge the work that was put in here. I mean, because these things that they're tweaking, I mean, it immediately just trickles to everything else. Mm-hmm. Like, this is this
you can't just increase time to kill and melee damage and stuff like that and not change almost every other thing that does damage.
Right. It changed the weapon slots. Then you got to talk about kinetic weapons, and then you got TTK counters, everything. I mean, it's basically, I can't imagine that everything didn't affect everything in some way, right?
You thought the Crucible was about to be wild, man.
It is. It's going to be the Wild West. It's fitting theme for Forsaken for a little while, anyways, till it settles in. I feel like it's going to take a bit longer than normal for this to settle in, for sure.
We're going to get faster supers. We don't know how much faster. Players will not lose special ammo on death, and you'll be able to pick up special ammo off of your killed enemies. They mentioned, like, with loadouts such as, like, say you're running 2 shotguns, like 2 energy weapons, you'll basically either start with, say if you're running 1 shotgun, you die, you start with 2 rounds.
Yes.
Or if you were running 2 shotguns, you would have 1 in each gun.
Yes.
When you revive.
Yeah. PvP players in the community were immediately talking about the importance of starting with at least a couple rounds, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It gives you don't have to camp a box. You don't have to do this, do that. Like,
get into the game.
Yeah. Right.
And if you can use that ammo, you'll get more off your slain enemies.
Yes.
One major thing I was, curious about going into the stream was how they were going to handle, special ammo, because it's not just for things like shotguns and snipers. It also goes into, like, energy weapons. Mm-hmm. And so it seems like we're not going to have to deal with special boxes anymore. You're just, you're going to collect that ammo off of the enemies you kill.
Yeah, and they go over this on the stream, and we just kind of glossed over it. We've talked about this on previous episodes and speculated it. Like, you're going to know the difference because each each tooltip of the type of weapon shows the ammo that it takes. Of course, you know this from what slot it's in, but it will, it'll have 1 white kinetic bullet, 2 for special or energy, and then of course heavy or power. So it's still jarring though, man. It's going to be weird. We saw the little special boxes. They're not actual old school special boxes, which I think is a good thing. It is actual just little bricks, like you said, that players will be dropping. So I'm ready to jump in and play around with this. It's going to be weird.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird.
Now they showed off some, through the course of the stream, they showed off some of the new abilities, the new Night Stalker attunement. They showed off the new Striker attunement. What else did they show? Did they show the Warlock? I can't remember if they showed the first
I don't think
person.
so. I don't remember seeing the Warlock. The beam of light.
Yeah, but got to see some examples of those in action. They look really cool. What else did we see? Of course, we saw some heavy bow usage.
Dude, the bow they were using, saw it on some playback feed. Yeah, they demonstrated, I forget the name of it, we saw it on the trailer. They demonstrated where you could see the targets through the rock that Cosmo was standing behind.
ADS, right?
Please give me that bow. Can I have it now?
That thing was pretty cool, man. It's definitely going to be a high skill weapon though. Like those don't look easy to shoot. In the time that I spent with them, they weren't super easy to wield. Yeah. I love them. One quote we've got on these notes, thanks to Shackle Shotgun, by the way, from Josh Hamrick. He said the last huge thing we wanted to bring back were even more hero moments, specifically through increased skill gap, not making the game harder to play, but in the right hands be special and insane to watch. We wanted the best players to shine.
Yeah, they mentioned skill ceiling, like they, in other words, like it's going to be, it seems as though it's going to be a Crucible of old.
Oh yeah.
Hero moments. I know we've talked about hero moments with the Go Fast update and stuff, but yeah, it seems as though it really does seem like hero moments will be back. You'll be able to it won't be all about hunkering down with your team and running in a circle around the map. You'll be able to be pretty lethal. And it seems the rumblings in the community, of some of these top PvPers, they seem to be agreeing. It's going to be excited. A lethal Crucible. Yeah. I can't wait, man. I just can't wait to see the streams again. Just having those moments. It's going to be fun.
Some other things we got to mention. One thing on Twitter, Claude Jerome, that was on the stream, who works in the sandbox, specifically on abilities and supers. Ward of Dawn is going to be significantly harder for enemies to destroy. That's the Titan bubble. Allies inside the Ward of Dawn have a stronger overshield as well as buffed melee damage. Sounds like Bubble's back.
Bubble is back.
Bubble is back.
They're just bringing everything back amplified, man. Like we're going to be superheroes again. I mean, it's a hard balance. You want a competitive shooter, but still feel like a superhero. It seems like we're going to be there.
Yeah. Pretty exciting stream, man. Go and watch it if you didn't get a chance to. There's a lot of nuance that is hard to cover on the show, but there's some really cool stuff, and they play 2 full matches of PvP to kind of show off different weapons in action, different abilities in action, just a lot of what they're doing there, and it seems really a big improvement in the Crucible for sure.
Well, that's the thing, dude. Like I mentioned this on Twitter, is they told us, like, this stream is about combat. It's not about, seeing new content, that excitement, things of that nature. And I'm thinking about it after the stream, I could see where it could come across as not a super exciting stream reveal, especially if you're not playing the game right now, or if you're not really in tune with what's going on with it. And on the surface, maybe it didn't seem like a super exciting stream, especially when they were just playing Crucible matches, but this stream was extremely substantial, man. Like, as you said, like there is so much in this stream of tweaks, and I don't want to say things we're going back to, but goals that are similar to what we used to love about D1's Crucible. And it's just another example to me of, you know, the team effort between the community and Bungie, and knowing what we liked about D1, because it wasn't everything, what we like about D2, and it just seems like everything in the TWAB, everything in the stream, you know, let yourself get hyped. It really seems like Destiny's going to be in the best place it's ever been starting on August 28th. It's just, there's so many quality of life things, so many tweaks and tunes to the game, things that make sense, things that we've talked about in this episode. I'm excited. Like I hope people come back, dude. People that aren't playing right now, I hope they see enough reason to come back, because I think they're going to be surprised and excited and want to stay in the game.
Yeah, and I prefer streams like this compared to the streams that we've seen in the past with, you know, prior to the launch of expansions and titles, where, you know, they spent a stream like exploring some part of how the game would play, you know, whether it's like, all right, here's how, you know, you get to these activities now, and here's this new thing in the tower. You know, those streams just didn't always go as well.
Right.
And we're getting a lot of that type of information now in the TWAB and things like that. And the streams are fewer, but we're getting, you know, a whole stream dedicated to just, okay, here is like the sandbox and how it applies to the Crucible. And these are things that are better shown than told, right?
Right. Yeah.
And we're not wasting time on like, all right, here's the new public event and here's the new space. You know what I mean? Like, not making fun of that, but like those streams just were never received well. Like, I enjoyed them and I like seeing that stuff, but I would rather get streams like this that are like really great examples of, you know, things that we should see. And like, you want to see how it plays, as opposed to like showing some new features of an expansion and like kind of trying to sell us something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I want to say Deej acknowledged this, I think. Like, Hamrick and Claude and Ping that were on the stream, like their team, like they wanted to show us like what they have been working so hard on for the last many months, right? And it's easy to gloss over that. Like, they've been working like passionately on getting the Crucible to this point, and they want to show it off, right? They want to show us what it's going to be like. So there's a lot to be said for that.
I agree. Yeah. It gives them a chance to really like do the best job of showing what they're working on and what's new and what's coming to the game. And they're the best people to talk about it. They're passionate about it. They did a really good job of presenting it, I believe.
I think so too.
So yeah.
Dude, we glossed over it, but before we wrap up the stream talk, they did show us 3 roles of Better Devils, dude.
Oh yeah,
Rangefinder, Outlaw, Payload perk. I forget the name of that perk. They had 3 different ones, and I'm so amped for a new type of random roll system. Like, it was they were having a good time laughing about a better Devils, this and that, but it's exciting. It's to see Rangefinder and Outlaw. People are already like, I think DMG tweeted out, you know, what role do you want on your Better Devils? Of course, I saw a tweet with Kill Clip and Outlaw, or it's just exciting to even have these conversations again, man, for sure.
Yeah.
So anyways, good stream. It was a very good stream. Well, you know, we said before the show we were going to talk about the different bundles or ways that you can buy Forsaken. This show is going to be super long already as is. So next week, guys, Cyborg and I will go over the different options you have in purchasing Forsaken, because it is kind of confusing. And we'll let you know like what we're doing and the different ways you can buy Forsaken and the annual pass and stuff like that. So there's some loot that GameStop is offering. If you go check out GameStop website in the meantime, but we'll go over that stuff next week. This show's already crazy long.
Yeah, for sure.
So
cool.
All
So
right,
how was your reset, man?
Well, I'm going to stick to the normal bullet point format. My reset's been fantastic. It's been filled with Solstice of Heroes, of course. I made it to my blue set. Again, I'm just playing, a few nights a week, just trying to, I've been soloing a lot of it, even the missions. I did get some help from the Dirt Fam, but I'm trying to get to my legendary sets. I enjoy it because I can do that. I respect the fact with this event that you can play solo and you can play with a fire team and still make progress, because I do play solo a lot late at night, and I'm having a good time, dude. Like I jumping in the Crucible, getting those those little things done for the different pieces of armor. And then one thing that I do like about it is when I log on, I look at my armor, I look at what I need to do, I figure out the most efficient way to do it, I appropriately equip the proper things, and I go execute that plan. And it works. It works. It's fun. You feel like you accomplished something when you're done for the night, and it feels good, right? Are you kind of experiencing that same thing? You're grinding out more than one character though, aren't you?
I'm doing all three.
Yeah, I have a healthy, comfortable grind of one character. I respect the fact that you're doing three, man. Like, I'm glad you guys are getting a ship. I still wish it was just an ornament.
Yeah.
But wow, what a grind. I'm glad you guys are getting some sort of
completed one, and I'm on the rare set for the other two.
Wow, man. Yeah. That's
I'm hitting it hard.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. I'm enjoying it though. You still enjoying the event?
I am. No, like I'm having a ton of fun. Like there's a couple things that are a numb, mindless grind.
You have to run the missions a lot.
But if you're smart about how you do a lot of the things, they're a bit, I keep using this word, but they're synergistic. You can do them simultaneously, like a lot of things with like get kills with this type of weapon or generate this type of orbs. Like a lot of things, if you just pay attention and strategize, you can do a lot of it concurrently. And so I'm having fun. I mean, all my buddies are on the grind too, and we're doing activities together, and it's fun. I'm sure by the end of it, I'll be like, oh, okay, finally done, but it's enjoyable. And be honest, like I have a bit of a goal. Like I'm trying to get them done as quick as I can, because I honestly want like a week of time off Destiny.
Yeah.
Because I want to play some more No Man's Sky. We were both talking about, we picked up, now I'm drawing a blank on the game.
Dead
Cells. Yep. I have it loaded on my Switch, but I haven't started it yet.
I started it last night. I played for just not too long.
That looks super fun. I want to jump in there.
Yeah, dude, I'm so pumped to jump back into No Man's Sky, but I straight up, I started a new character play session, and I started on my initial planet, did a couple things, and I want to play that game. I just don't know when I'm going to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was tweeting out today. I asked and I learned, thanks to the Destiny community, when you get the legendary set of the Solstice of Hero armor, you don't have to go back to the statue to masterwork it. So I'm trying to figure out how much time I have to do things, because I'm wondering now if the game will recognize beyond the Solstice of Heroes event and let you masterwork the armor after the 28th, or if it won't. No, but if anyone from Bungie's listening, please tweet me and let me know. I tweeted it out, and of course no one knows. I'm hoping I may ask somebody from the team, but you wouldn't think so. But since you don't have to go back to the statue, and all it is an achievement node on the armor, maybe? I'm literally trying to give myself an extra week that I can not think about masterworking that armor and focus on my moments of triumph. Anyways, So, yeah, I don't know when I'm going to get back to No Man's Sky, dude. Dead Cells is exactly what I need right now. It's, I turn Destiny off, I grab my Switch, lay in bed, and play a few runs before I fall asleep with it in my hands, basically.
Yeah.
Check it out. Check out Dead Cells, guys, if you have a Switch. Actually, it's on PS. It's on all consoles and PC.
All platforms. Yeah,
it's on all platforms. So, very cool. We'll let you know more about Dead Cells probably in the coming weeks.
But yeah, I'm enjoying the grind. It is a grind. I totally get how it's not for everybody. For me, I'm digging it for sure. You know, it incorporates all the things that I love doing in Destiny, and we're having a good time doing it. And I'm dedicated to getting all 3 of these dudes fully masterworked in everything, so I can. That's
what's funny, dude. The Destiny community is quick to tell Bungie when they don't like a grind, and for whatever reason, the majority of the community, the way this has been implemented,
seem to like it.
They like it.
It's not perfect, but people are enjoyed it. Oh, and you know what? I got I don't think we talked about this last week, but I got the Whisper of the Worm ship.
Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, I haven't started that portion of the Whisper yet. I got the
Zavala ship for rank 50 Vanguard.
Oh, I'm working on that. I'm working on that.
I got some cool stuff.
Very cool.
And
congrats, man.
You know what I did that I was very reticent to do for the past years? I actually bought some silver.
I've been contemplating it.
I threw down $20 on some silver because I was like, you know what? I want to get some more of this stuff a little faster. So, and you're getting 2 different engrams. You get the one you would get from the expansion, and you're getting the event engrams. So you're kind of getting like double the loot for your money. So, you know, I'm cool with like spending some money on this event because I think it's worth it. I think they did a really good job, and I'm happy.
You don't mind spending it?
Spend some money this time around.
I'm not getting very many glows though. Are you? So
somebody pointed something out to me that I didn't realize. When you get a glow, it's like an ornament.
Yeah.
You unlock it, and you can use it for all of your guys, and it's not one-time use.
Right, it's like an ornament. Yeah. But I still, dude, I've played a decent amount. I know I'm only on my blue set, but I've been soloing, so it's taken me a little longer. And I've gotten, you know, many engrams.
I've only gotten about 7.
Dude, I've only gotten 2.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I don't think you get a ton, but keep in mind
them all.
There's a knockout system for those engrams.
Okay.
So your odds for getting more of them are going to increase as you get more and more loot. I mean, there's a lot of loot.
That makes me feel better. See, because I want them all.
It might be worth spending the 1,000 bright dust to unlock them every day.
Yeah.
If you have the bright dust to spend.
Yeah. I have to consider that. I want to glow in all elemental.
I know, I do too.
ways.
I want all the sets, like all 3 for the whole body, but that's a lot. You know, it's like 15 different ones, I guess. So.
It is. I'm already like, okay, I definitely want solar. I'd like arc. And then I'm like, wait, I just want them all.
Yeah.
I
just want to be able to just swap them out.
Glow.
Them all. I hear you. All right, man.
There you go.
We don't have any new Dirt Fam discourse this week. So
we do not. It's a good thing.
There's a lot of things we'd like to hear from you this week on, though. Crucible lethality is a big topic. Trials and faction rallies being put on hiatus is a big topic we'd like to hear from you about. And just all the things we talked about. We'd love to hear your feedback about what you think. You know, we talked about Iron Banner, Power. I mean, there's so many hot topics
you guys
this week.
Want. Yeah.
Send us your feedback.
Simple email.
Yep.
And you know what? If you want to tweet us, if email's not your thing, at Destiny Reset, just throw in there like, this is for the discourse, Dirt Fam discourse.
Yeah. Just put a little hashtag Dirt Fam discourse in there for us. And so you can email us destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com or send us a speakpipe, speakpipe.com/destinyreset.
And
do we have any new patrons?
We've got a new Dirt Fam patron.
Yeah.
Shout out to Coda Bear LS. Thank you so much, Guardian. We really appreciate it. I believe we read email from Coda Bear a week or two ago. I want to say so. But thank you so much, Guardian.
If you're not familiar, patreon.com/Destiny Reset is where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. If you do so, you get some rewards. You get a shout out on the podcast. You get your gamer tag on our website. And you get an invitation to a Discord channel just for Dirt Fan patrons and supporters.
Hype.
We appreciate all of our patrons. They really make a difference on how we're able to produce this show, and less money comes out of our own pockets than ever before. So,
and it allows us to give back to you guys.
That's right. We're going to be doing some giveaways with some copies of Forsaken, maybe.
We are. We will have, I'm sure, more information about that on the next episode.
Yeah, buddy.
Exciting times.
All right. I think that's it, man.
It's late. I think that's it. It's really late.
Yep. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at AER0KNIGHT with a 0. What about you, buddy?
You can find me at CyborgSasquatch on Twitter and Mixer. Finally, you can find us at Destiny Reset on Twitter and DestinyResetPodcast.com, your source for all things DRP, including links to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast app of choice. If you're on Apple Podcasts, thank you for your reviews. We've got some new ones, right?
Yes, Guardians. We are at 195 iTunes reviews. We really want to make it to 200 before Forsaken gets here. We got 5 new reviews this week. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to Lieutenant Cunningham, Steeda 13B, Willcat, Mo, Harris J5, and this is a good one. How's your cat?
Nice. My cat's fine.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for those.
So much. Means a ton.
Yeah, remember, if we hit 200 by the time Forsaken launches, I'm going to give away some Destiny loot.
Cyborg's loot chest.
That's right. I'm opening
that hasn't been opened.
Big golden loot chest full of Destiny merch I've got laying around. So we're almost there. 5 more if you're on Apple Podcasts. Go leave a review and be sure to leave your name so we know who left it.
Yes, leave a written review, please, so we know how to contact you in some way, shape, or form.
There we go. All right, man. What a
week
in Destiny.
Yep, another week. What a week. Until next week, have fun playing Destiny 2 and take care, Guardians.